Hey, welcome back to another Get Geekish podcast. Thanks for joining us every week, like I'm assuming you do. I'm just going to make myself feel better about that. I'm joined by Derek over there, my co-host, and I'm Bino. You find us online at Get Geekish or getgeekish.com. I like to share the geeky things we can find time to be a part of in the world. And we're doing something we haven't done in a while. We generally take some time once a month or so to do a celebrity spotlight on one of our favorite actors or actresses. And it's been a few weeks, so we decided to bring that back. And if you can't tell by Derek's background over there, we're going to talk about the queen of sci-fi, Miss Sigourney Weaver.
I like how you threw one of her nicknames in there.
You like that? Yeah.
The Sci-Fi Queen. Yeah.
I feel like knowing stuff gives me credibility.
Damn it, cat.
But Sigourney Weaver, big break from the Alien franchise. The Alien 1 movie was her big Hollywood break in it. She's been in a lot of things, and for such a household name, she doesn't have near as big an IMDb list as as I would have guessed she would have had. But I think that just means she gets to pick and choose things she wants to be a part of.
Well, I think that's exactly it. I think she gets to sit there and go, yeah, no, I don't need to do that. I mean, she does. I mean, she's been a voice in video games. She's been in,
not saying she hasn't done a lot, but
no, but I mean, like, if you look at what she does usually bigger projects. So it's pretty cool.
And for those of you who don't know much about Sigourney Weaver or don't know a lot of intimate details about her, she was born Susanna Alexandra Weaver back in 1949 in New York City. And pop quiz, she started calling herself Sigourney at 14. Do you know where she got the name Sigourney from?
No, but you're going to tell us, so I'm happy about that. Because that's just a weird thing right there, to go from Savannah to Sigourney. So hit it.
She found the name after reading F. Scott Fitzgerald's The Great Gatsby. She really liked the name and decided that's what she wanted to be called for it as being an actress. Because I mean, honestly, it's name changes seem so strange, but at the same point, you can literally fill out some paperwork and change your name to whatever you want.
Yeah.
Technically.
I don't remember Sigourney in.
It was probably some side character, something like that, but it was in that book somewhere that she liked it. And ever since she was 14-year-old, that's what she went with.
And one thing too is before Alien, she was, it looks like a couple of movies. One huge one was Annie Hall, but she didn't really have a huge role in that.
Yeah, she was the girlfriend, but she was in the movie for like 7.5 seconds.
Yeah.
So she's credited with it being her first movie, but
yeah. So then 1979 rolls around. She's an Alien, which that movie is great. I love it. And then
I feel like Aliens came out at a weird time for me because I was a neurotically terrified little kid. So that came out, when I was very, very young. So the whole Alien trilogy was like my elementary school years or less. And they were terrifying to me. And to this day...
Not Alien 3, come on. That one's not.
When you're 9, Alien 3 is a little scary, right?
You were 9 in 1992. Were you?
12.
There you go.
I told you I was a wussy 12-year-old. I had a problem with feelings.
Okay, fair enough.
But yeah, Alien, I mean, they are a monumental trilogy, and I'm not saying I dislike them. It's every time I watch them, I just have those weird flashbacks of being terrified as a child.
Right.
And for movies made at that time, the special effects in Aliens were hands down phenomenal for sci-fi, especially for sci-fi movies. Mm-hmm. Like they were creepy and realistic. You can go put Alien next to almost any other Alien movie from the early 80s, and it's like big foam green heads on guys.
True. True. But and then, in between Alien and Aliens, the sequel, she was in the Ghostbusters film. No Zool, only Dana.
Only Dana.
Or no Dana, only Zool. There we go.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, that didn't sound right.
Could have gone the other way with that.
Yeah, right. And then, a few other movies that I hadn't heard about. I forgot she was in Gorillas in the Mist.
Oh, yeah. And that's actually a big part of her life now, I guess.
Yeah, it is.
She actually does a lot of stuff. Where did I write this down here? I took notes. If I can't find them on there, but she does some stuff with some foundations that help save gorillas, and she's been back for a couple different things down there, and is actually one of the spokespeople for one of the big groups after that. So it was not just an acting role for her.
Which is pretty cool. And you gotta. I'm really glad that, I mean, because if you look at it, she's been in a few sequels, obviously, with Ghostbusters and Alien franchise. Some people don't stick around. She's been in 4 Alien movies.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah, Resurrection. She was in that one in '97. So that's pretty cool. She was also in that Snow White film, which is kind of, I mean, right up your alley. It's terrifying. It's Snow White, A Tale of Terror. So,
well, you speak of sticking around too with franchises. She was in Ghostbusters and Ghostbusters 2, and she was in Ghostbusters Who You Gonna Call, and she's in Ghostbusters Afterlife that got pushed back the next year.
Oh, she's in the new one?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice.
And then she's in Avatar, and then she's in
Yep.
at least the next 2 or 3 Avatars, where they got slated for that. So when she signs up for a franchise, obviously she believes in it. Like, yeah, I'll be in all of them. You don't have to come back. Although I think the funny thing is, was it the 4th Alien movie?
Resurrection.
I think he's in Resurrection. Her salary to be in Alien Resurrection was more than the budget for the original Aliens movie.
I mean,
inflation. Okay, gorillas. I found the gorilla thing. So she actually went back to Rwanda, where they filmed Gorillas in the Mist, for a BBC special called Gorillas Revisited. And she's a supporter of the Diane Fossey Gorilla Fund, and is out now. It's actually honorary chairperson for that.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to think of. I was like, she's in an animated movie that we just watched not too long ago. Yeah, she's the ship's computer in WALL-E.
Yep. And of Ship's Computers, she was also in an episode of Futurama as the female ship that Bender fell in love with.
You know what's funny? She was in Paul. So, like, she also takes some roles where you're watching and you're like, wait, what? So Paul's that weird alien movie that Seth Rogen's the voice of the alien.
That was a pretty decent movie. Come on, Seth Rogen's voice and Simon Pegg. There's some great one-liners in that movie.
Yeah, it's all right. She was also in Chappie, which I totally forgot about. Finding Dory. She was actually in that as Sigourney Weaver. 'Cause that's what I was trying to think of. I was like, I heard her voice recently in a whole bunch of animations, and that's it.
Yep. Oh. One of my favorite movies, Galaxy Quest. She's along out with Alan Rickman and Tim Allen.
Oh wow, you weren't kidding. She's in Avatar 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, like it's on Wikipedia, so obviously it's gonna happen.
Jeez Louise, man.
I mean, even little things like she was the director in Cabin in the Woods. I mean, it all kind of thing, and it all stemmed that when she started in acting, her entire life, her parents were in Hollywood. Her mom, Elizabeth Inglis, was an actress, and her dad was the former NBC president, Sylvester Weaver. So she was in the entertainment world since she was little. But according to some of these interviews and stuff I read about her, she had a very big problem with being self-conscious.
Which I could see.
Yeah, she was super, super tall, and her mom told her that she was very plain looking. So in one of these things in her, she was reportedly over 5'10" and a half by the time she was 14. That's a huge junior high school kid. She only grew another inch after that, but she grew up being super taller than all the other girls in her class. And the thing about her mom saying she was plain looking, I think she said in one of her, it was in a memoir or interview, she said, if your mom thinks you're not pretty, then who else is going to think you're pretty? So she struggled with these issues most of her life, and probably thinking she wasn't good enough or wasn't enough to play these roles. But she has become, as we talked about, the nickname of the Sci-Fi Queen. And
I know it's not going to happen, but a Galaxy Quest 2, I know was talks for a little bit, but I don't think it's going to happen without Alan Rickman now, because I mean he was a heart of that movie as well. But it's one of those ones where you look at it, anything that she does, and again when she pops up, you're like, hey, that's Sigourney Weaver. She's been nominated 3 times for an Academy Award, 3 BAFTAs with 1 win on that one, 7 Golden Globe nominations with 2 wins, She's also earned a Tony and a Drama Desk nominations for her work on the stage, which is huge. So, I mean, she does stuff not just for film, but for stage, which is great. I love it when you meet an actor who can be like a little versatile in that aspect, I guess.
I always find it impressive when you see somebody or that is a full-on actor or actress that can make you believe they're other people versus somebody that got lucky to be cast in a popular movie. Because there's a lot of those, and not taking away, because some of them still played great roles, but some people that have made names for themselves in Hollywood for basically being themselves on screen, I don't have they're not even in the same, I don't want to say level of talent, but it's just a different, it's apples to oranges type of thing. Like there's the craft behind it, and some people are, more versed than others. And I would venture to say that Sigourney falls much more on the well-versed path.
I think she would be one of the ones, like, if I met her, I would be like a little starstruck, because I'd be like, it's you. Yeah, right. You mentioned that she, helps with the gorillas and everything like that, but she also brought, kind of a widespread awareness kind of to the threat that the ocean habitats are. So she's using her fame for good.
Oh, that's right. The news conference for the United Nations General Assembly thing she did.
For about the threat to the ocean habitats posed to deep sea trawling. So, or trawling. So, I mean, that's pretty good. She also speaks French and German fluently, which not a lot of celebrities can do that, I don't think. So.
I took 6 years of Spanish, and I can barely speak tourist Spanish, let alone something fluent. Jeez. And apparently, if you see Sigourney Weaver, don't try and take her in an elevator.
Yeah, don't. I just saw that.
She's afraid to travel in elevators, according to my reading. Which I could see. I have a touch of claustrophobia. Not bad, like I can't be in small spaces, but I've got just enough, like if something gets pinned me down. And I can see in a small elevator, like if I get in a packed elevator, I get uncomfortable. And I can imagine somebody very easily getting that point of, nope, not going to get in a death box with a bunch of people tied to a cable. Nope, not going to happen.
Well, the thing is, too, is if you get in an elevator, try not to think about like everything that can happen because of what movies have taught us. But,
And if there's ever an emergency anywhere and you're in a tall building, what is the first thing they do? They say, use the stairs.
Yeah. So one of the facts that I saw that I kind of want to know more about was in 1962, her family moved to San Francisco briefly, and it just says it was an unpleasant experience for her. I want to know why, because it says later they moved back to east to Connecticut, but they didn't. Where's that gap in between there? I want to know what was unpleasant about moving to San Francisco. It's the little details in celebrities' lives. It's the little details in celebrities' lives when you see stuff like that, you're like, I don't know more. I don't care what your favorite cocktail is. I want to know that.
That's a way I think that somebody needs to come up with a way to recapture the magic of VH1's Behind the Music. Because if they did it for musicians, they give you all those untold backstories, and they put enough drama into it, but they didn't make drama up. They literally just put what was there and then made it sound super dramatic. Whereas a lot of reality shows now try and just literally create drama out of nothing. Mm-hmm. But I feel like some actors and actresses, there'd be some amazing stories that somebody could just sit down and get the inside dirt on some of these and then share that with the world. But there are probably some personal issues mixed in there that,
Well, that she retired from the public life for a little bit, right around Ghostbusters 2 time, because that's when she found out she was pregnant. So she decided to kind of retire, not from filmmaking itself, but also from the public, to kind of get away and spend time with her family, which is something you don't see a lot of now. And it's usually like, oh, I'm pregnant. Yeah, take a look at my kid type of thing. It's nice when a celebrity, of course, back then, I guess they had the ability to kind of get away from the world. Now that technology is so advanced, I don't know if that'd be able to happen, but
she's got a good smattering of stuff too. If you follow her on Instagram or Twitter, got a pretty good smattering of stuff to follow. If you're a fan, she posts all kinds of photos from movie sets and throwback photos, and she passes the celebrity test we have. It looks like a lot of the photos she have are showing you glimpses into stuff she's actually doing. They're not all doctored magazine cover photos. There's a few super high edited ones, but there's other ones that are behind the scenes, low quality selfies with somebody with a goofy expression on, and there's stuff for wearing masks behind the set of a TV show and getting stuff ready for things. So this is a stupid thing for me, but I really enjoy when celebrities share that realism part with it, and they don't try to portray that their life is this magical, magic carpet ride of money and champagne bubbles and servants everywhere. That's like, I make movies for a living.
So let's rewind back here real quick, because she's also, you look at some of the roles that she's done, and it's usually a woman in power, which, especially in the 70s, unheard of. Well, maybe not unheard of, but not common.
Yeah,
right?
It was out of the ordinary.
Yeah, and so she often plays women of enormous strength and stature, which is pretty cool, because I remember the first time that I saw Alien, I didn't see it when it came out, obviously. It came out in 1979. I wasn't even around yet, but I think I saw it in the 90s. And I'm watching this film, right? I grew up with the Westerns that have, the male leads that are always the heroes and everything like that, and watching other action films with Arnold and Sylvester Stallone that are always the heroes and they're machismo. So here I am watching this movie, and she's the only girl really on the ship. I didn't think anything of it. And when she turns out to be the hero, I was like, whoa, that's pretty cool.
Because if that had been written by somebody else to be a USA Up All Night movie, she would have been a damsel in distress, and her spacesuit would have got torn half off, and then she would have died, or somebody would come in and save her. But she was I almost said a bad word. She was a very strong person. BA. Yeah.
She's a BA. Well, and the thing is, too, and I love, this is, I think, why I love the sequel. A lot of people don't like the sequel because they're like, it's not a horror movie, it's more of an action movie. I don't care. They took what the first one built up, right? And they took that character. And Sigourney Weaver made that character strong. She made Ripley great. And they took that and put it in the sequel and made her even more of a BA, especially with that line with this part right here, with the little girl and saving her. I was just like, yeah. So, it's great that, I don't have much of a leg to stand on, but it's great for me to see this and go, you know what? She is awesome. And you look at other roles too. She is pretty strong and everything like that. Even in Ghostbusters, when she was the damsel in distress. She was the damsel in distress, but she was a single mother working a job, taking care of a kid, and trying to not put up with Bill Murray's crap hitting on her. Exactly. And that's what I was going for, is you look at all of her roles and they're pretty awesome. She is, in my fair opinion, a great role model. And I can't wait to, my daughter's still a little young to watch the Alien movie, but to show that to her. Okay, I'll call you when the nightmares start. But I can't wait to show her roles like that. When we watched Galaxy Quest, that was a whole pun of that movie, was in the show Galaxy Quest. She was the damsel in distress, and she wanted to be more than that and more empowering and everything like that. And I love how they wrote that in there. How her character is supposed to be, oh, look at me, type of thing. And they were they made her tired of that whole stigmata type of thing, or stigma thing. And they're just that's a different podcast. But this the whole stigma of the thing, and said, hey, you keep being strong. And I love that she does not act down, I guess. Is that a word?
Act down. Yeah,
well,
I think I know what you're talking about. I think so. Yeah. Yeah. It's not cheesy or out of place. It's very real, very believable. I think that's where the role model part comes in. It's not like she's suddenly Supergirl in the Alien movie, and she's suddenly has got magical powers that can destroy stuff. She's literally just
human.
surviving.
Yeah.
Hey, and by the way, I found out I am in good company with being a little scared of the Alien movies when I was a kid. One of Sigourney Weaver's best friends is Jamie Lee Curtis. They've been friends for a long time. And apparently Jamie Lee Curtis told her that she still hasn't actually seen the Alien movies because she was too scared of them.
But Jamie Lee Curtis was in all the Halloween movies. Well, most of the Halloween movies, which is a horror movie, right? So
yeah. Hey, I would still go with, as a child, the Alien movies way scarier than the Halloween movies.
Don't you wish you could just go back in time and relive, because I remember like that whole chest burster scene too, I was like, oh. So and the great thing too is, we all know now that part was kind of unscripted. They knew that something was going to happen, but they didn't know that. So when you see everybody's face in that,
real reaction.
Yeah, it's a real reaction. And, not to take away from the other female in Alien, but it's just, I'm glad that they went the route that they did with Sigourney Weaver and Ripley and making her the focal point.
Yeah, because it was a breakout role for her, but for that franchise as well. If one of the other Marines had been the main protagonist movie, I don't think it would have had near the character. Like it would have been, it's another Alien movie, cool, whatever.
Right.
But the way they wrote her into the way she acted, it created this icon that people just latched onto.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, bravo all around. It's my round of applause, Sigourney Weaver. Use my flashlight so we can shine the celebrity spotlight on her, right? That's what we need. That's what we need, props. Because that way anybody that's not watching YouTube can get really confused.
Why'd they go quiet and why'd we hear a halogen light kick on?
And now there's crying. Anyway, let us know on social media. Go to @GetGeekish or go to getgeekish.com. We got links to get to wherever you need to go. But chime in and what your favorite Sigourney Weaver role was. Because we have our favorites, but I want to know what your favorites are. And especially if it's one of those scenes that maybe she wasn't a main character, but she played a small part in something that you absolutely adored. I want to hear about it. Let's share it. @GetGeekish. And anything else you got to add for this week, Derek?
No, but it might be time for another Alien kind of binge watching session. Even though 3 and Resurrection are, but they're still watchable. So
we'll add them to the queue. How about that? So that's what we know about Sigourney Weaver, and we'll talk at you next week.